Yo, what up? This is T Money, and you are now watching the T Money podcast. Joint in the building. We got my girl Stacks Cadero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I gotta pause this real quick. That's my joint right there. For those who really know hip hop, know what that was. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get to that in a minute. Yo, Stacks, what's going on? How you doing?
What's going on, T? I'm happy. You know? Yeah. Another day above ground is always a great day.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All
you
right.
See, you see, no one saw that part. I don't think I got to adjust my mic. My mic here got adjusted. I salute to my man Aman, by the way. And he's the facilitator of the studio that we use every month, and I got to give him props because we have a great relationship, man. And I just told him that this is the spot that we're going to be staying at. So. We're not going anywhere, so salute to him, man.
So we home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Podcast Central, New York City, man. Peace, two fingers to them. You know what I mean? But today, we have a guest that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm not even sure, to be honest with you, because I'm 62. I'm not too sure about my memory. If I even met this gentleman until today, but his song, it didn't matter because I met his song, and his song resonated with me, and it's a big deal for me because I'm from Long Island, and I'm proud of that.
Westbury.
And I'm proud of that. You know what I mean? Newcastle in the building, and I'm proud of that. But I want to say peace out to my man who's in the building right now, my man AJ Rock.
Yes, sir.
No doubt.
Sir.
What's up, brother?
Yes,
How you doing? JVC
yes,
Force in the building.
Yo,
representing JVC Force.
It's something I got to do.
Talk to me.
Yo, cuz, I took the Metro North down there from Mount Vernon.
Yo, what's up, son?
I got the Grand Central Station. This cat, he recognized me. He was like, yo, ain't you that cat that's living in CI guy? I said, yeah. He said, yo, what you up to? I said, yo, I'm going to see T Money do his podcast. He said, yo, when you see him, tell him something for me. I said, what you want me to tell him? He said, knowledge me, homie. I had to do that.
You know what? That was crazy. For those
that.
of you who don't know, I was in a group called Original Concept, and he was spewing his take on my song called "Knowledge Me." Which
I just did my trip here.
Thank you,
A. I had to do that.
Thank you, A. Peace out to you, man. Thank you very much, brother. How you doing, man?
Good. And we have met a few times. I was up at BAU. Mm-hmm. I was there mostly for Wildman Steve, but I was at the end of y'all being up there. And I knew Dre well. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I met you around with Dre.
Oh yeah, no question. That was so long ago. I was like a dinosaur. But salute to everybody.
Shout out to WBAU.
And to do this real quick, Stacks. Mm-hmm. So you'll even know the history. I think I mentioned this to you before. And keep in mind, my co-host Stacks Cadero, we go back like camel humps and sway fronts, man.
Right.
We go back like bomber jackets, like sheepskins. We go back, like British Walkers and Playboys. We go back, we go back like car seats. We don't play that, man. I know her for quite some time.
We go back to doobies and finger waves.
We go back to Jerry curls. We don't play that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but WBAU was a radio station that was at Adelphi University.
Yes.
In Long Island. Now, I'm mentioning this because there's a method to my madness. So we were all 18 to 20 years old. We were running a radio station that broadcast. Usually college radio stations don't broadcast off campus.
Right.
Most colleges, they have their little radio stations.
They're little blocks around the campus.
Yeah, because they're only meant for the people who are majoring in radio to actually get a little stronghold on how they're going to actually progress in their career as a radio person or working in that field. They're not really meant to broadcast in the general public because they only talk about stuff that happens in school. They play a little music while the students, for the cafeteria. It's never a big deal. Our station was like a commercial station because we broadcast from CI to CI, and what that meant was from Coney Island to Centralized Long Island.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I could catch it coming back across the bridge to Mount Vernon.
Facts.
Just on the Bronx, across the bridge, and I caught a little bit of Mount Vernon, then I'd lose it there.
Right.
Yeah.
So this brother, put out a song called Strong Island, and Chuck D, one of the founding fathers, I should say, of WBAU and the time that we were there, which included myself and my partner from UMTV Raps, Dr. Dre, Flavor Flav, the Bomb Squad, the aforementioned Chuck D, Busta Rhymes, leaders in the new school,
and Mr. Bill,
the former president of Def Jam Recordings, You also had people who frequented the show, Fat Boys, LL Cool J, Run DMC. Matter of fact, I think Dre still has LL Cool J's Cazelles because he left him up at the radio station.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He had the clear ones with the little gold joint. You know what I mean? So I said that to say that this brother is a byproduct of Long Island, and he's a byproduct of that station, and I salute him, and I'm glad you're here today, man. Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you for the invite.
Thank you very much, because and so let's talk. So you're from Central Islip, correct?
So yeah, everybody asked me this story because I got a book called Hip Hop, Celebrating Hip Hop in the 914.
Okay.
I was born in Mount Vernon.
Oh, you were born in Mount Vernon. Wow, so I'm blown right now. My whole mind is.
So when I got about 7, my parents got a house in Central Islip, Long Island.
Oh, okay.
So we was good. We was out there for a while. Then my parents got divorced. You know, like a lot of us, I drove my mom's crazy. She's like, "You going back to Mount Vernon to live with your dad?" I went to high school with Heavy D and all of them. And, Mount Vernon. Yeah. And my cousin, I used to run with Pooba and all of them. New Rochelle next town.
New Rochelle next door.
So,
yeah, they was right next door. Right.
Yeah. So all of these people, I knew all of them before hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
So then I went back and forth. So what happens is after I got out of school, I went back to Long Island. Couple of cats in my neighborhood was telling me about the other 2 dudes in JVC. They were younger, so they started making some noise.
Right.
So they was like, my boys dragged me to one of their parties. And then what happened was, they was like, "Yo, let AJ get on the mic." So, I get on the mic, I say a couple of rhymes, Be Love.
So you were always, so what sparked you as being a rapper? You were always a rapper even when
I was always a rapper. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, living in Mount Vernon, you got that whole feel.
Got that vibe. Got that vibe.
From the Bronx.
Right.
I would always go back to Mount Vernon in the summertimes, even when I lived in Long Island, I'd bring back them cold crush tapes and stuff that they didn't have out there. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So I came back, I got on the mic, I did my thing. Be Love, he ain't gonna let nobody outdo him on his set. So then he get on the mic. So we wasn't battling, but we was going back and forth. And everybody talked about how good we sounded together.
Right.
The next day we was in Kurt's garage. Working on routines
doing
and
demos,
that's
dope.
And all of that, yeah. So basically that's how I got started. But they had the group before me, you know what I'm saying? So
they put you on like a pair of socks.
Yeah, then that's when we started talking about let's try to make records and all that stuff.
No, that's
You added value.
Yeah, man, because you must have been spitting some fire right there.
So we was going back and forth. Yeah, it was just good. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a battle, but it was like, I did my thing. B did his thing.
Well, that energy breeds competition. Competition breeds success. You understand? Yeah. So that's cool.
And shout out to my partner, B Love, my partner in rhyme, who I met when I was 7 and he was 5, and even if there was no hip hop, we would be brothers.
Oh wow!
You know what I'm saying? Like even if we wasn't never doing
so
the
you guys go back to the sandbox.
Yeah.
It's not like somebody just put y'all together.
Yeah, he in Georgia now, but we still, we still holler. He's my daughter's godfather.
Yeah, salute to you, B Love, man.
Yeah.
That song resonated with me, man, and all of us. Truth be told, anybody that rested their head in Long Island,
that wasn't the song that got us signed. B Love actually did a demo without me called The New School, the B-side.
Yeah.
That's what we was shopping.
Oh, you serious?
Well, same thing, all the labels, the addresses, sending the tapes in.
So wait a minute, hold up. So the B-side is what you guys were shopping, and that's the record that got you the deal?
Right. So
but the record that blew up was...
So B-Boy said, yo, they loved it, but it was like, yo, let's just do something for the B-side, just for the... And that's when we went in and did Strong Island. So we were already signed. Like, Strong Island might have got assigned anywhere, but you know what I'm saying? We were already signed when we already had
But that's typical because that happened to Public Enemy, too.
Yeah.
Public Enemy, they when they were putting out the Yo Bum Rush the Show album, they got that deal. They didn't get, Rebel Without a Pause was never created.
Right.
They made that single after they went out with I think it was Public Enemy #1.
Right.
And that had mild success, but they, Def Jam wanted something that was going to really hit with radio whenever. Then they came back home and did Rebel.
Right.
And then they re-released.
So yeah, Strong Island was supposed to be the B-side of New School.
Oh.
And when we did it, they was like, nah, that's gonna be the A-side.
Yeah, because that record took off. You know what I mean? Because Long Island was starving for that at the time. You know what I mean?
Nobody. So you had to be from one of the boroughs to really be officially respected as a rapper, as an MC. So you had Rakim, who said I'm rough enough to break New York from Long Island. You had Chuck D said Strong Island where I got him wildin'. But even then, the Rakims and the Public Enemies, if you didn't know they was from Long Island. You know what I'm saying? Like, You
Well,
know what I'm saying?
nobody for a long time knew that Ra was from Wyandanch.
Right.
They didn't know. They thought he was because Eric's from Brooklyn, so
Right.
he
He
rode
was
that
from
way.
Brooklyn.
Right.
I did.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. See,
right.
See, then she from Harlem, so she didn't know.
Right.
But listening to the lyrics, he said Long Island,
Yeah, he said.
but not in the first record.
Nah, he had
Not in the
the
first
first
record.
time he said I'm roughing up to break New York from Long Island.
Right,
That's
right,
what
right.
I know we sampled that too. So
Fact. Oh, that's why you know it's verbatim. That's facts.
Yeah.
So-
So that's what it was. So we did that, and we gave Long Island an anthem that, like you just said, like
Yeah, because
nobody,
like I
nobody
said,
was representing.
nobody.
You had Prince Paul, who was running with Stetsasonic, but you didn't know he was from Amityville.
Right.
And they had that record,
That's
Disco
right.
Richie and Divine Sound,
Right.
5 + 5 =
Right.
10. The DJ was from Brentwood, but
That's
you
right.
never knew that.
Right.
You because they was from Brooklyn or wherever they was from.
Well,
So,
I think and being from Long Island, listen to me. Being from Long Island, I get this. I got a ghetto pass in every borough because I think I lived in at least 3 of them.
Right,
I lived in Harlem. I lived in the Bronx for a long time.
Right.
But my point is like, it's because hip hop is from the streets, right? And unfortunately, the connotation of Long Island is like, there are no streets out there. You guys live comfortable. You live like,
we get the same
you're
thing.
well to do.
Westchester.
You're
Like,
well to do. You
think
know
the same thing about Westchester.
you live high on the hog. You don't know nothing about the pissy elevators and the rats and roaches, and you're not from the mud. You know what I'm saying? But truth be told, and I believe that, like, half of my adult life, I truly believed that until I started flying back and forth to California, because Compton looks just like Newcastle.
Compton is houses.
Compton looks
When I
just
first
like
went to-
Wyandanch.
When I first went to Compton,
Fact stacks, I'm telling you, Compton looks,
Right.
Compton, Watts, all that look just like, my neighborhood. I'm like, so
First time
I'm not from, because my neighborhood was predominantly black.
Right.
People that, I had a house, but they ain't had no, it might not have no grass in the front yard. People were lifting weights across the street in their yard, pit bulls, people selling crack. You know what I mean? I came up in that kind of environment just
Right.
because my neighbor doesn't have skyscrapers and I don't have the train running under the ground. You understand? You can't tell me that my neighborhood was not ghetto, because my neighborhood was ghetto for real. Newcastle was ghetto. Wyandanch was ghetto. Roosevelt was ghetto. Parts of Freeport was ghetto.
parts of Central Islip was ghetto.
Hempstead, forget about it.
Yeah.
And if you weren't from Long Island, you didn't know anything as it related to that culture. So when you did the song,
People came out and found out though.
when they came out,
And found out.
I think Red Alert told this story to me on the train one day. Red Alert was like he didn't know at first, and then when he started coming to Long Island, he saw how. And keep in mind, you have a huge contingent of people of color who aren't rich, who live in the street. It's going to be the same thing. It has nothing to do with your living
No matter where they
conditions.
came from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, it had nothing to do with that. That's what I realized when I came back and forth to Cali. I was like, my circumstances are the same. I had gangs in Newcastle as a kid. They were called the Holly Rocks. They were called all kind of gangs, crazy gangs, right, around my way. Same energy. You know what I mean? Just like how hip hop manifested from the Bronx to Queens to Long Island. It's the same, because keep in mind something, from Brooklyn to Long Island, there is no bridge. It's the same body of land.
Right.
Right.
When we in the elementary school in Central Islip,
Right.
when they taught us the map, they showed us the map of Long Island.
Right.
Long Island had 4 counties.
4?
Suffolk, Nassau, Queens, and Kings. They show you
Oh,
a body
yes,
of one.
that's right.
Right. And that's
Right.
what they taught us in school.
Right.
And you might get beat up if you tell somebody from Brooklyn that they from Long
Oh,
Island.
they're not trying. Brooklyn people are trying that.
Where's Long
No.
Island University?
In
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. It's just absolute facts. The only thing you got to cross the bridge for is Manhattan and the Bronx.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything else is one body of land,
It's
bro.
just one body of land.
It's,
Yes.
and the only reason why Long Island is not part of the 5 boroughs, you know this story? Long Island was approached when the 5 boroughs was being developed, and Long Island chose to be, just like Westchester, they chose to have their own governing body.
Right.
Long Island did the same thing. That's why they're separate from the 5 boroughs, because they was all supposed to be as one.
Okay.
but it wasn't. You know?
Well, I talk about that in my book.
Oh,
we'll
okay.
get into the book later.
We'll get into the book in a second.
But when we do, I want to talk about that part.
No question.
Yeah.
So you made the song. I mean, like I said, every borough kind of had their own song. Even the Frankie Cutlass joint when he does Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans have their own theme song. And Strong Island has their song based on what you guys did. I thought that was an amazing. What sparked you guys to actually do that song? Because we didn't have it.
So
you know?
so I got to give credit where credit is due, and most MCs won't do this. We came out the studio. We came out the label, and they said we needed another song for the B-side. B-Love went and wrote that and brought it to me.
Wow.
So he wrote both parts, my part, his part. He wrote the whole record and brought it to me, and then, we broke it up and spit it. So I give credit where credit is due. That was B-Love came up with the idea, the whole idea.
Yeah, B-Love killed the first verse, right?
Yeah, and what I did, I knew about the Free the Pain joint. His pops we were looking for a record. And we was in his pop's garage, and
what sample is that?
Free the Pain is 2 samples. Free the Pain, The Easiest Way to Fall, and The Unhooked Generation.
Oh, okay.
So I had this. I knew of Free the Pain joint, and I was asking his B's father, "Yo, you got any Free the Pain?" And he puts this 45 on, and he's playing Band of Gold, which was the hit side. What we sampled was the B side.
Right.
And I'm like, "That's not it." He's like, "That's got to be it, because this was the hit." I'm like, "Yo, anything on the other side?"
Right.
As soon as the needle hit, dun 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 dun.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Easy Play to Fall, and then Kurt got the album and figured out the that's from Unhooked Generation, another song on her album.
Yeah, okay.
So he put all that. So Kurt produced the whole thing. I mean,
right.
I knew of the record. Kurt put it together. So I just give everybody their credit where credit is due.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But so you guys actually got signed
for new school.
You got signed. But you got signed to a few labels. You went to B-Boy Records first.
We went to B-Boy Records, and as Kara said, B-Boy Records, all the things he said about B-Boy Records is true.
Yeah, fact.
So
salute to Chris, man.
We actually signed the summer, because we came out in January. We actually signed that summer, and it was a couple of months before Skylar Rock got killed. So I actually only met him once, in person. Like I only met him once.
God, to Scott,
and then KRS left and went to Jive, because KRS wasn't signed to B-Boy. He was signed to Scott. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he had a production deal with Scott?
Yeah. And then, Scott had a joint deal with Rock Candy, and they made B-Boy.
Oh, okay.
But so he was signed to Scott, so he was able to just leave.
Right.
But he couldn't take the album with him.
Obviously, because they paid for it, probably.
Right. So he went to Jive. So we became like the number one group. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we was one of the few that got an album deal out the bat, because they was giving people like single deals. And then if that single sold, you got another single, and if that single sold, then you got an album.
Oh wow!
We got a.
So that's a testament to how successful you guys were. That's why I don't understand how you guys. What happened with B-Boy? Because I mean.
So B-Boy went out of business.
Oh, that went out of business.
They went out of business. We left. We went to. We ended up going to Isla's Warlock.
Yeah, Warlock, right.
And the dude who owned that label introduced us to his lawyer to help us get off of B-Boy. We ended up actually stealing his lawyer. His lawyer ended up representing us,
right? Wow.
And being our lawyer.
Okay.
But we had that deal, so
right.
And then we was on that, and then he helped us get off that label.
Oh wow!
And then Stretch Armstrong was at Big Beat, and he was like, "Yo," he loved the group, and he got us.
Also, Stretch brought you in.
Stretch brought Stretch.
Okay, I was going to ask you, how'd you get?
So, and then we was happy because we had the first thing we never had. We never had a major label behind us. And Big Beat, we was part of Big Beat, Atlantic buying Big Beat. You know what I'm saying?
Right, that's right.
And and then the group broke up.
Right after that.
Right after that third album never came out. So
yeah, that was unfortunate. There's so many stories in the land of hip hop culture, man. Especially with record deals. I could tell you tons. Especially me and Dre's at Def Jam was a totally different
conversation.
So
we got jerked in our first deal like everybody else. The label got a lot more of my money than I did.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because that Strong Island song, but the impression that you guys made, as it relates to that song, is life changing. You know, for the people who actually enjoyed your music in Long Island, because that's a staple. You know, it's sort of like when you made that song. It's sort of like, okay, now we belong here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know,
that's when people started claiming
Yeah.
Long Island, because they said the people that were from Long Island really didn't.
They couldn't claim it because
like
it wasn't getting the respect it deserved.
It gave you something to be proud of.
Right.
Right.
Then when you look back, not only the impact of the song, but then when you look back on how many people in the hip hop culture came from the Long Island,
Right.
You know, and how much impact they created. You know, I mean, from Public Enemy on down.
Right.
I mean, myself and Dre and Public Enemy. They're talking about the Bomb Squad. You're talking
Buster
about
came out that camp because he came.
Yeah, that's right. The same camp. It was Leaders of the New School. You're talking about De La. You're talking about Rakim. You're talking about EPMD. You're talking about
K Solo, Keith Murray.
Yeah. And I had this debate with Red Alert. Okay, and if anybody, you know, goes in the chat on YouTube to talk about this, please tell me what time it is. I was always under the impression that Biz was from Coram. Is Biz Markie from Long Island or is he from Harlem?
Okay,
Red Alert told me he's from Harlem.
So
And I was like, that was wrong.
This is the only reason I know.
Right.
I seen Biz, and he was out for a while, and you know he's
R.I.P. to Biz, by the way.
Yeah.
That Biz, anywhere he laid his mic was his home. Like he literally was everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So I seen him one day, and I was like, "What you doing out here?" He had to go to Coram to get his birth certificate. Wherever you get your birth certificate is where you were born.
Red, you heard that, Red? I told you.
Like, I'm from Mount
Long
Vernon,
Island.
but I was born in New Rochelle Hospital.
Right.
I have to go to New Rochelle City Hall if I want a copy of my.
Right. Okay.
He said I have to go to Coram to get my birth certificate.
Okay, that's it.
So
that's it, brother.
That, from his mouth, at least that's what he told me.
I'm claiming Biz Markie, the Emerson A. I'm claiming
But
him.
everybody claims Biz. Like, even all through Long Island, everybody claims Biz.
He's from Coram. That's facts. Okay.
Let me just tell you the important. I always tell this story to show the importance of Long Island in hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So, EPMD is on tour with NWA. Cube is having his little issues and stuff. For whatever reason, he's sitting on the bus with Parrish. Parrish is like, "Yo, dude, you writing these platinum records, and you ain't got nothing to show for it. We going gold. We got houses and cars and stuff." It was Parrish that made Cube start questioning his paper. And then when he left, where did he come to do his album?
Right here to see,
Right.
See Eric and Hank and Keith.
So his whole being on his business, that he owed that to Long Island.
EPMD, strictly business all day.
And then, like I said, he went to the Bomb Squad to do the album.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember when Cube came out he was right at 5'10".
Yeah.
Him and Sir Jinx with the Jerry curls and the whole nine. You know what I mean?
So that's one of the many stories about how important Long Island was to
and how important, more importantly, WBAU as a story is. You know, I mean, that radio station gave us a center.
And shout out to Hofstra too, because Hofstra was doing their thing.
Oh yeah, with
Jeff Force.
Jeff Force.
Yeah.
No question. Salute. R.I.P. to Jeff Force too, man. Yeah. Jeff Force went out on tour with me and Dre when we went to England, and it was us and Latifah and DJ Mark, the 45 King. Salute to him and rest in peace.
You know, you're getting older when you start listening to your playlist, and you be like, every other song, you be like, "Oh, rest in peace. Oh, rest in peace." Like 45% of my.
But those are classics, though.
But I'm saying, like, more than half my playlist is. They ain't here no more.
Listen, but they left behind a dope legacy.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of which, how was it for you guys, or like who did you go on tour with? Like having such powerful music. Who were you connected with when you went on tour?
So we unfortunately didn't get a lot of major tours. We did shows.
Okay, so like who were you aligned
my
with?
My biggest thing is KG from Cold Crush signed to B-Boy, and they went on the road with us. So we was like, you know, KG and it's Tony Tone, but he was still going under Cold Crush. And on the flyer, Cold Crush opened up for us. You know that like, you know, KG opened up for us. We was waiting for them to call us out, figure we opening for them, and they was like, nah, we opening for you.
The historical significance of that is that
So,
that's
know,
KG from Cold Crush Brothers.
Yeah.
You know, salute to Kaz too. Kaz has been on our show.
Kaz is one of the three that made me want to pick up a mic. Kaz, Melly Mel, and Kumo D.
Yeah.
Kumo D battling Busy Bee. That Kumo D.
And Kumo D, the one that went to Old Westbury College.
Yes.
Yeah, how about that? People don't even know that. He went to Old Westbury College.
So to answer your question, we did shows with a lot of people that were out at the time. I know we did some shows probably with Chubb Rock and Kid and Play, and we did some shows with various other people and a bunch of underground groups too that you may not have heard of. But we did a lot of shows ourselves. A lot of things we did, we were self-contained. We wrote our stuff, we produced our stuff, we packaged our stuff, we designed our own album covers. We did like that picture on the album doing Damage. My man came out with us standing on the car.
Yeah.
Because we found a beat down car on the side of the road on Spur Drive.
On Spur Drive.
Right. It was beat up and off to the side. We jumped all over it and took pictures. And that was the album cover.
That was it. Simple as that. Yeah. Wow. Hip hop early on was so simple right there, right?
So we didn't have like
teams
of producers, and we have a lot of outside producers.
You didn't have a stylist. You didn't have
we did everything ourselves.
Photo shoot. You know, you just went with your man.
Kurt's younger cousin was a barber, so he was our barber. He was cutting our hair. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was self-contained.
That's genius, man. Salute to you, man. And I thank you. So let's talk a little about what you're doing now, man. I mean, I know after you guys no longer had a deal, I know Kurt went out and he was doing some producing too, man.
He had a group called QNC. With another guy from Central Islip.
Right.
And then he was producing. He did stuff for like MOP and a bunch of other people, some B&B stuff and everything.
Yeah.
So
he worked with Keith Murray too, right?
Yeah. He did Keith Murray's first album. There's an album he did with Keith Murray before. He also, people don't know, when K Solo got out of jail, I was seeing this girl and Solo was dating the sister, and they brought him to my house when he got out of jail to take him into the studio.
Really?
And the first Spellbound, Kurt produced.
The Spellbound.
Not the one that you heard, but the first original version. Kurt produced.
So let's talk about that for just a second, because that song is marred in controversy because DMX said
I know that story.
K Solo stole that from him while he was in jail.
So according to what I heard from DMX and what I read in his book Earl, so DMX got arrested in the Hamptons.
Right. That's right.
Right, and then he was in Riverhead. And he said, he was battling everybody, and then there was the PC side. And there was a fence between them when he was in the yard.
Right.
And there was this kid that was making noise over there, K Solo. So they battled. They went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the last rhyme he did was Spellbound. And you can Google now, go Google DMX Spellbound, and you can hear his early version.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
And he says Solo asked him, yo, that was dope. How you do that? And he was like, yo, most of the letters sounded like, this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other, and he did it. So I never knew none of that when Kevin, I went to school, early school with Kevin Madison, K Solo. So when he came out, Kurt put him in the studio. We brought him in the studio, and they did Spellbound. Then Kurt messed around. I didn't leave the studio with a tape because I purposely didn't want nobody to play it. I didn't want to play it for nobody. Right. But Kurt gave it to one of our dancers. Our dancer went to school in Queens with K Solo's cousin. So he's running around Queens playing this song.
Wow.
So there was a fallout.
Right.
And then, you know what I'm saying, then eventually he got with Eric, and then they did the EPMD. The EPMD, because, Brentwood and CI was right there.
Of course.
And we were all using the same studio too.
Right.
Charlie Murata studio.
Charlie Murata, salute to Charlie.
Yeah. So there's that. But I want to say something. So I don't know when Solo came out, like 89 or something, and DMX was a little later. If you listen to Doing Damage, our album, and you listen to Style and Lyrics, I'm spelling my second verse, I am spelling everything out in that verse. So before they was doing it, I was doing it. The song's called Style and Lyrics. And then we did the Red Alert promo right after that, and I'm spelling my whole verse in the Red Alert promo.
Oh,
and
wow.
that also was before K-Solo. So, I mean,
Yeah, listen.
and I didn't make that up. And the people I got it from was this cat named Pee-wee. They called him Ciroc a lot, out of CI, and Biz. Biz used to always spell his name and everything. Yeah. So that's where I got it from.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's
so
look to that history.
So before
That's
they were
real.
doing it, and you can listen, these came out in 88. The album's called Doing Damage. The song's called Style and Lyrics. Listen to my second verse. I'm spelling out the whole verse.
Done.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that answered my question in spades.
Yeah, so-
Okay,
You said in spades.
no question. So let's talk about
So after,
you
after
started
hip-hop,
writing. You started
I
writing.
started
and
writing
stuff.
for the. So my friend Wendy Day from the Rap Coalition.
Oh, you salute the Wendy.
It was
I
her.
just saw her online down the other
It
day.
was her idea
Yeah.
to there was a couple of magazines, some magazine that have a rapper review other rappers' albums, and I was a writer.
Okay.
So I started writing for magazines.
Right.
Nice.
So through that, I got cool with all the publicists. They all females, so you
Right.
get cool with all the, and I started writing. I ended up writing for the
Chris
Source.
Rock's publicist. Got fly.
Right. I ended up writing for the Source. I ended up writing for the Village Voice, the Long Island Voice, the Long Island edition of the Village Voice,
Right.
and mad other papers and stuff
Right.
like that. So that's what I was doing for years. And then trying to stay relevant. I was always a hustler, so some underground label might need publicity, and I used to do that for us.
Right.
I used to get us all in the magazines.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Some label needed like college radio promotions, and I'm the one who got us all the radio. You
Right.
know, like I had the relationship, so I started doing those things. Just for a check, just to keep things.
Right.
You want to still be in the business, but it felt like, and this is gonna sound crazy. People ask me, I got offered a deal, 2 deals solo as a solo artist. I had loved hip hop so much that I felt there was too many former group members that went solo and had subpar careers, and I didn't want to do that to hip hop. Not that I didn't think I would be dope.
Right.
Like Eric and Parrish separately were never as great as EPMD.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, they had their careers, and I think I could have held my own, but I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be another former group member. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just doing, so I didn't do it. So I ended up writing for magazines, and I started doing publicity, and I started doing promotions, and I started doing all that stuff. Just kind of staying relevant, staying in the group, staying in the,
Right.
in the scene and everything.
Right.
So what I didn't know all that was preparing me for. And then, when Calvin Butts ran the CDs over.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? I was always writing about
Yeah.
stuff like, all that kind of
See,
stuff.
Dolores Tucker did the same
I was
thing.
writing
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
artists having no health care and stuff like that, because I was one of those. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So I was fighting for that kind of
And
stuff back
still
then.
trying to fight for that to this day.
Right.
You know?
So what that ended up, what I'm doing now, it led to what I'm doing now, I own a community. I started a community newspaper called Black Westchester.
Okay.
We're like the voice of the voiceless. We fight for those who can't fight for themselves.
Nice.
We help elected officials get in office, and if they act up, we help them get back out of office.
Oh.
We help wrongfully incarcerated people get out of jail.
Oh, really?
And we help some of the cops that lied go to jail.
Wow.
Because of our stories, and so I became this advocate, like something I never thought, and I never was into politics.
Right.
I never wanted nothing to do with politics, but I realized the importance of politics in everything you do, and educating the community, and all that stuff. So that's what I do. So, and then I wrote a series of books, and they were all based out of documenting things in Westchester. The first book was called Black Westchester: The Origin Story. It's been kind of my memoir, like from rapper to that, and it told the whole story of how we started. The second book, for Black History Month, I did Black Westchester Celebrates Black Women of Westchester. The first Black female mayor of Mount Vernon, the first Black female mayor of the first Black, and I documented all of the history of Black women in Westchester. And then come around to the 50th anniversary of hip hop, I saw a tweet that Pete Rock wrote that he got mad that some of the 50th anniversary celebrations didn't have his cousin Heavy D. Didn't have him in there. So he was like, yo, anybody who's doing that don't have Heavy D is whack, blah, blah, blah. And everybody joined in and everything. Then I seen, people from Atlanta complaining there wasn't enough, people from Cali complaining.
The
50th,
in my opinion.
Right. So I could have complained like everybody else. What I told people they should do. Everybody need to document their own region.
Facts.
So again, going back on that, how if you wasn't from the 5 boroughs, you wasn't respected as
Right,
hip-hop.
right.
Same thing was in Westchester.
Yep.
But what I show is how Mount Vernon and Yonkers especially are they're attached to the Bronx. The street I lived on, the yellow line in the middle of the street, across the street was the Bronx. This side was Mount Vernon. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
I mean, it literally was
You
like
could
that.
drive right over that and you'd be in a different
And a lot
section.
of the artists from the Bronx hung out in Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
So here's the history part, which you were talking about, and I talk about it. So back in the days, there was one borough, Manhattan, the only borough. And there was a referendum, this is the 1800s, for Richmond County, which is Staten Island, for Queens County, for Kings County, and for Mount Vernon and Yonkers. It was they vote. The other boroughs made it, but Mount Vernon and Yonkers didn't.
Right.
What they did is they took part of Yonkers and they took part of Mount Vernon and created this new borough called the Bronx in the 1800s. I document all of that.
The Broadnecks, not even the Bronx.
No, but I'm saying, but it was the Bronx. The
But
Bronx,
it's called the Bronx itself before all that. I mean, way back was a farm.
Yeah, but it was like part of the Bronx is Mount Vernon and
That's
part
facts.
of it is Yonkers.
That's
So
facts.
I was showing that to show while y'all didn't consider us hip hop, we were connected to what y'all consider the birthplace of
Facts.
hip hop, like
From the beginning.
from the beginning.
Right.
And so I show and I document the early history. There's a group called the Collins Brothers. They actually coined the DJ Mark Collins. He actually coined the phrase "money earned in Mount Vernon." And back in the 70s, like 79, there was some Harlem prep school. There was a big party. They were raising money for the uniforms. It was DJ AJ. It was Theodore's brothers, the L brothers.
The L brothers, yeah.
And all these people, Busy B was rhyming for one of them, and it was the Collins brothers, and they had this monster sound system. When they played their system, nobody else could play because they were so loud.
Right.
So when they turned it off, Busy B got on the mic and was like, yo, I don't know where y'all think y'all from. This is money making Manhattan, not still learning Mount Vernon. So Mark Collins is like, y'all can't let that ride. It took him like 10, 15 minutes. He's trying to figure out what they were going to say. And he said, money making Manhattan. He said, money earned in Mount Vernon. And that was back in 79.
Oh, wow.
So we had people with the big sound system back when AJ and all the people in Love Bugs, we had that from Mount Vernon too.
That's
So
facts.
that was going on in Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
So I document all of that up
In
to
the
what's
book.
going on. Yeah, up to what's going on now. I call it, we got our own thing.
Show your book, man, to the people, bro.
Yeah, here you
Yeah,
go.
that's what's up, man.
It's the book's called We Got Our
We
Own
got our
Thing.
own thing, man.
After Heavy D song.
Yeah.
And a look at hip hop from the 914. Now it is not the definitive catalog of everything that ever happened, but it gives you a look at the 914.
Gives you an idea.
The graffiti artists, everything, all elements of it. And my aim is when you after you read the book, you put some respect on the 914 when you think about hip hop.
No question.
When I do a story, a medical story or something, I go to experts. So I
Right.
did the same thing here. Got Kim Osorio from The Source, quoted her.
Yeah.
I got Ralph McDaniels talking about his favorite videos, and he did Heavy D's first 2 videos.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I had Andre Leroy Davis, A.L. Dre.
Oh,
from
yeah.
The
My
Last
man.
Word.
He was a guest on that show. So was Ralph McDaniels. Ralph McDaniels, his show will be aired really soon. He was a guest
Okay.
on that show as well. Yeah.
So I gave him The Last Word. So he talks about he did Grand Poobah looking like the Poobah from,
yeah,
from
with
the Flintstones.
the hat and yeah.
And he actually gifted me the actual artwork.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So he did
we can show that. We can show that right here. See
So
that?
I have him talk about it.
Yeah.
I got DMC from Run DMC talking about how Pete Rock saved their career with Down with the King.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Pete Rock. Wild Man Steve's talking about some of the groups from
Right.
a few other people. So I went and got the experts in hip hop. So I'm not just telling you 914 is dope.
They're telling
I
you.
went and got you. I
Right.
got some of the experts, and then there's interviews with Lord Jamal and mad other people.
Right.
Oh, I was on my way here. I was talking to Vance Wright. He used to run with Slick
Oh,
Rick.
okay.
He's from the
Vance
area. He
Wright.
lived in Mount Vernon when,
Right, he
when all
did.
that was going on. So he told me tell you what's up.
Oh yeah, no question. Oh my God, man. Yeah.
So there's an interview with him in there. And a bunch of I just compiled all that, and then I used to write for Ego Trip too. So there's like lists,
wow.
like Ego Trip type lists. That's all in there too.
Where can they find this?
So it's
book,
on
bro?
Amazon.
Okay.
Nice.
Listen
Or
to me.
you can hit me at Mr. AJ Woodson.
I look at hip hop from
MRAJ
the
Woodson.
914, man. Listen to me. We got our own thing right here. My man AJ Woodson in the building. It's not AJ Rock, it's AJ Woodson. But
Well, it's say AJ Rock Woodson.
Okay, there you go. The whole thing.
That's it. The whole name.
He can have 914 on his chest all he wants to right here, but I know where it really is.
So 516 for you.
516, baby.
So you know I had to do that when I was writing the book,
Right.
Because I'm interviewing Lord Jamal, and he's like, "Yo, so where you from? You from Long Island, right?" I said, "Nah, I was born in Mount Vernon." He said, "Ain't you living in CI? Who the hell am I?" So I had to explain that from 914 to 516 and back again. I had to explain all of that.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
dope.
So because I think Bobito asked me the same thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Oh, Bobito's in the book too.
Oh,
yeah.
Respect
So
to that.
I had to tell that story. You know, like I said, I was born in Mount Vernon, moved to Long Island, moved back to Mount Vernon, moved back and forth. So if those were countries, I'd have dual citizenship.
Dual citizenship.
I got hip hop dual citizenship. Like,
You have dual boroughship. That's what you have.
But that's incredible, bro. And I sincerely hope that your book does really well. We're gonna promote it right here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So again, check out my man's book, please. Get this book. It's on Amazon. It's not free, so you're gonna have to pay for it. You gotta give this man some money.
Yes,
but we don't play those games. You know what I'm saying?
And if you hit me on social media, I'm Mr. AJ Woodson, and my email is mrajwoodson@gmail.com. You can pay me PayPal or whatever, and I will autograph it and mail you a copy.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So you get directly.
You can't have this one. This is mine.
Because I actually make more. If
You
you
gotta get stacks of books, but this is my book right here.
Yeah, I actually get more if you buy it from me. Same thing with like a label. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Nice.
Like, you know, like
Nice.
a label, Amazon take half. Like, you know
No
what I'm
question,
saying?
brother.
Like,
No doubt. But listen,
but if you can't get it nowhere else, you get it from Amazon. It's available at Amazon.
okay, no doubt. Thank you very much for being here today, brother. I appreciate you.
Yo, thank you for the invite.
No,
like I said,
I really.
I know this is the first time we really chopped it up. We've seen each other.
We see each other.
Been in
Okay, I got it. See, 'cause you helped me with my memory. But more importantly, the first time we ever had a real conversation, and I really enjoyed this interview.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, yo, when I saw you. When Ed and Dre was doing MTV and used to pop up, yo, man,
oh, no
I was like,
question.
yo, that's T-Money.
That's right. That's right. That's how I had to break into that. You know what I mean? Nobody did what I did, man. You know what I mean? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
AJ Rock, a.k.a. AJ
and also
Woodson.
I want to shout out Wildman Steve.
I
Because
got-
Wildman Steve, outside of Red Alert, is the number 2 person who played Strong Island the most. Like, he played it even when nobody else was still playing it. He was still playing it.
Steve in the building.
Yeah, so I always got to give him shout out.
That's my
Long
boy.
Island.
That's my man.
And he's
That's
still-
my man, Wild Man Steve. I can't even do his voice.
Yeah.
How are you doing there,
And
Wild Man?
he still called the show the sound of Strong Island.
That's
the Strong
right.
Island sound or something like
Yeah,
that.
you know, peace, Wild Man. Yo, my man AJ in the building, man.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much for being here today, bro.
Yo, my pleasure.
This is T Money, and you are now watching the T Money podcast joint. Thank you so much. My girl Stacks in the building. Why you looking at him like that? Like interesting conversation.
We
Right?
had
You
a
know?
one-on-one conversation.
She heard it.
No, looking at him like what? What you mean?
She was looking at him like this is very intriguing.
It is
exciting.
very intriguing, and you have a book that's dedicated to hip hop, which is amazing.
Right.
You know, there were some questions I didn't get a chance to ask you because y'all was having your own conversation, but it's cool because you can come back.
That's right. Oh yeah, you
can come back.
I have to say this too because it gets asked a lot. So where's the 516 book? I'm gonna.
I was going to ask you during your interview, but you were rolling. I didn't want to go there.
So I have to explain to everybody. First off, Long Island is a very long island, so that's gonna be a lot of work. I might have to do that in like.
All I know is you better call me. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I got something to
I
say.
might have to do that, and it's too much for one book. Long Island is just too much.
We might have to buy a part 2 and part 1.
Yeah. So,
you know,
but eventually, when I can sit down, I think I'm gonna work on.
Yeah,
it.
I got people for you to talk to too.
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
They're very helpful. All right, man.
Nice.
We out of here, man. Peace, 2 fingers, man. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks a lot. Peace out. Buy the book, man. Buy the book.
Buy the book.
Buy the book. All right.
Money podcast joint with